Uh, I think I was running a wrong command. The correct command is yarn dev. Okay, now it's running. Now let's move on. Now let's install this package also. Web3 model is an easy to use library to help developers to easily allow their users to connect to your dApps with all sorts of different wallets. By default, W3 library supports injected providers like MetaMask, dApps, Genesis Safe, Frame, Web3 browser, etc., and Wallet Connect. You can also easily configure the library support Otis and these other libraries. You can see the example of that code here. Let's see here. Meanwhile, just add it, create another terminal, yeah, add user model. Okay, so that's how it will going to show. Web3 model package. Now let's see. Yes, we'll now add ether. So in our application there is a public folder. Download this image and rename it to crypto dev.svg. uh, let's download it. Now go to style folder and replace the content of home.modulo.css. We will download that image. First copy this big folder. There it is. Let's replace the code of it from here, from this code. Now let's move on to index.js file under the page folder. Now inside the pages folder there is index.js here. Now copy the code. Okay, there's the lengthy code. Okay, explanation of the code can be found in the comments. Make sure you read about React and React hooks, React hooks tutorial if you are not familiar with them. So do read about the React hook uh, before reading this code. Now let's see the code. Here we have set few variables and also a reference using the hooks use state and use ref. Now there we have connect with the web3 model reference, and there is a web3 provider. So provider is needed to interact with the blockchain. In the section 7 it is defined very well about the provider, single SAP and overflow to read it. Then let's move on. Here we are checking the chain ID. If not correct, then it will ask us to change the chain ID where they change the network. Now there is a button of add to a whitelist, that is user will uh, make action on this button or click this button, so user will going to add inside the uh, whitelist contract that we have just created. Now let's open that contract also. Okay, now let's move on. Is get number of whitelist, that will return the number of whitelist, and then check if address by address whitelist. This function also, this will then return that whether the user is inside the whitelist or not. Then a connect wallet, and then the render button, and we have use effect hook where we are checking this. If wallet not connected, then it will going to call the function connect wallet on this variable chain. Okay, here we are seeing this constant, this whitelist contract address. We are importing it from somewhere. Let's see. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, now create a folder under the my app folder. Its name is constants. Okay, now create a folder inside the my app folder constants. Now create a file index.js inside this folder, and just paste these two lines, and now what you have to replace here, you have to replace the contract address and the whitelist address contract that you have deployed, and replace the UBI with the API of the very contracts. Get the API of your contract, go to this, and from the whitelist file get the array marked under the API key. It will be a huge array close to 100 lines or more. Terminal which is pointing to my app called execute. Okay, so let's see what we have to do it now is to get the contract address. I think yeah, close that tab. So don't worry, let's deploy it again. Open this here and let's deploy it here again, the whitelist contract with this command. Let's compile it and then deploy it again. So here it is. You get the address, save it here, and now get the ABI file. Here you go, and here it is. Here it is. So we have so here we have copied the ABI file content and also the contract address. Now let's run it. Move to this folder. Okay, so it's created page. The only thing that is missing is the image. I will add it. uh, Now let's just click on it. join whitelist. Okay, we have just okay. So one have already joined as whitelist.